Hillary, I'll start with you.
Okay.
First point on Biden. Past prime. Nice guy. As Meghan McCain said on The View, maybe he is the grief whisperer. He was certainly great to my family when my pop passed, but he's not who he was. We don't see it in the energy, and people lack confidence because of that. How do you respond?
Look, I think we are now facing a prospect where one of, a 70-plus-year-old man is going to be the next president of the United States. And I think that they're all pretty comparable in that regard. I'm confident that, Vice President Biden has vigor. He's shown it on the campaign trail. I think that he is, going to be a solid and stable choice. I'm not worried about that.
The moments where he seems to not remember to be on message, where he seems to not be able to say things the right way?
Look, he himself talks about that his old stuttering gets in his way, that he, has a lot of legislative issues that have come up in his campaign and career over the years. Every one of them isn't perfect. The thing about Joe Biden, though, when he gaffes, because we all know he does, you never believe he's lying. Right? You just believe that he's moving it across the way.
We'll get one problem at a time. Yes, he makes mistakes, but there's more than that. We'll get to it in a second, arguably. Hillary, on your side, what you have to deal with is decades of controversial votes that look bad and that go along with stories of commitment to social justice and moments in his past that may not be accurate. And each one will be pointed out by the president. You did the crime bill. Obama was thinking about it when he was like 11 or whatever the president said today, that Obama was thinking about the crime bill too. I know it's BS, but it's how Biden deals with it. You said you were arrested when you were with Mandela. I don't think so. You say that you were trained to be a protester and suffered. We don't think so. How do you deal with the record of votes and of stories that don't hold up?
Nina referenced Dr. Martin Luther King before, saying that he said from the Birmingham jail that we should be concerned about white moderates. That's actually not what Martin Luther King said. What he said is we should be worried about the silence of white moderates.
Are you kidding me?
Nina, wait.
No, she's making a language point.
What he said was we should worry about the silence of white moderates. And what we have in Joe Biden is a man who is not silent. He has a long record, and many votes that in today's world feel like the wrong thing were the wrong thing, and he has discussed that over and over again, as Bernie Sanders did on the gun votes and other things. So we can be talking about votes from 20 years ago, or we can be talking about people's values and who they trust.
I am not culturally one of those guys who likes to, I don't fit very well with, I'm not a joiner. I don't go out, I was out of sync with. By the time the war movement was at its peak when I was at Syracuse, I was married. I was in law school. I wore sport coats. I was not part of that. I'm serious. What y'all don't seem to understand is, some of you, I think you understand it, I don't think you're really being, well, I won't characterize it, but there was a 4-year period there, folks. There's light years. When I was on the college campus, those of you who go back with me, 1961 to 65, Vietnam was like Nicaragua is now. We all said that's kind of stupid, but it's going to end. But you don't see many people marching on campuses. Go up to my son's campus in Philadelphia, or go down south, or go out west. It's nothing like the anti-war movement. That's about where Vietnam was in 1963 and 64 and 65. So I find y'all going back and saying, well, where were you, Senator Biden, at the time? I think it's bizarre. I think it's bizarre. And then when the movement did catch up, I was a 23-year-old guy, married. And look, you're looking at a middle-class guy. I am who I am. I'm not big on flak jackets and tie-dye shirts and, that's not me. I'm serious.
But it was an epiphany for me. And so I got involved in I was no big shakes, Reverend, in the civil rights movement. I was just a kid. I got involved in desegregated movie theaters and helping, you may remember Reverend Moyer in Delaware and Herman Holloway organized voter registration drives, coming out of black churches on Sunday, figuring how we were going to move. But you know what? Dr. King, if you remember, you all do, in 65, wrote from the jail.